Okay, thank you for the introduction and thank you for this invitation. I'm really very honored to be here for my presentation to share a point of view about the next generation terrestrial broadcasting status in China. So this is the outline of my presentation. First of all, we will review the past standards in China. And then we will talk about what is the next generation broadcasting standard. And by realizing this next generation system, we will talk about the government support. And after that, we will give you a picture about how is the standardization progress in China currently. So first of all, we'll give you a very simple picture about the evolution of the Chinese terrestrial broadcasting standard. You can see we have terrestrial broadcasting standard and also we have the mobile TV standard. And we have our first generation terrestrial broadcasting standard in year 2006, and the name is DTMB. So after that, it is nationwide deployed, and then after that, the new requirements coming out, and the spectral efficiency of the DTMB cannot meet the requirements. So many trials system has been invented. For example, Dash A from Tsinghua University, this system is improved the system for the spectral efficiency and mostly promoted to other countries. And we also had the NGB-W standard. It's not a standard, it's a system. So this system has also been invented by Shanghai Jiao University and also Shanghai the Advanced Technology Institute from Chinese Academy of Science. And many trials have been done on this NGB-W system, but it's not commercially successful. And we also followed our Japanese colleagues to realize a MIMO trial system basically for the 4K delivery. So still, currently, we don't have the next generation national TV standards. In the second line, you can see we also had the mobile TV standard before. So we have CMMB. The name is Chinese Mobile Multimedia Broadcast, and it came out in the year of 2006. After that, it was widely deployed in over 300 cities because of the Olympic Games. However, and also in year 2009, the China Mobile incorporated this CMMB system into its 3G mobile phone. And it seems that it is very successful by them. But in year 2010, because it's a business model, maybe it start to charge the fee, and also because of the unstable reception scenarios. So finally, the market failed. So overall, in the year 2019, so what we will do for the next generation TV standards, because now for Korea and the United States, you already have the ATA 3.0. So I think China will also have its new generation standard. And this new generation standard should consider the terrestrial, the rooftop reception, and also should consider the mobile reception and also the interactive services. So what is the next generation terrestrial broadcasting in China? So before diving into this topic, I just want to show you the picture about how the video service evolves. So basically, the video service evolved into two directions. First direction is the higher resolution, which requires huge data traffic. And this data traffic, the growth of this data traffic is higher than the growth of the spectral efficiency available. So it needs broadcast network to help offloading the traffic. And the video content also evolves into another version, which is interactive services. For example, we will have more mobile videos and more digital television, interactive video in the future. So that requires the broadband network to provide the personalized services. Overall, we can say that the DTDB and the mobile broadband network should cooperate to each other to finally realize a next generation TV system. So I will give you some broad pictures about what will be happening in the future next generation systems. And I will give you some user cases. In this user case, we can see in the left side, we can see that the broadcast high towers, they transmit the signal directly to the end user. And on the right side, we can see that broadcasting tower can transmit the signal to the base station with caching. And when the end user requires some interactive services, the closest base station can then transmit the data to the end user. And this is a picture about hybrid coverage. So we have 3 scenarios in here. In this picture, actually, we have 3 different stations. The first station is the high power, high tower broadcasting station. And the second type of station is the low power, low tower broadcasting station. And we also have the 5G or LTE base stations. So we have the 3 different types of stations. And the first scenario is a cooperative transmission by the high power, high tower and the low power, low tower broadcasting stations. This is mainly to fulfill a better coverage, especially to reducing the blind spot. And in the second scenario, the LTE or 5G base station in cellular mobile network can provide the packet loss retransmission mechanism for the broadcasting networks, because sometimes still you will lose, cannot receive your packets in a stable conditions. So we need the LTE or 5G base station to help retransmit. And in the third scenario, the LTE or 5G base station should cooperate with broadcasting network to provide an interactive service. And in this slide, it mainly show you the picture about broadcasting network to help the mobile cellular network to offload the traffic by providing, for example, the hot contents, the public service, and also the same content software updates, and so on. And finally, this is a picture about broadcasting and the broadband network work together to providing different contents and finally synchronized in the end user terminals. Okay, we have just give you a broad picture about what we are trying to do for the next generation TV system in China. So how to realize this? First of all, I will talk about the government support till far. Actually, starting from the year 2017, the government especially have 3 actions. The first action is they issued the National Science and Tech Major Projects. And after that, the government also issued the National Key Research and Development Plan. And then the government also established an AIB standard committee to facilitate this next generation standard. You can see from here, first the National Science and Technical Major Project. This project started from the beginning of 2017 and ended in that year. So the topic of the the project is a research on converged architecture of 5G broadcasting network and the mobile communication network. And the target of this project is to study the user cases and the technical requirements of the integration of 5G broadcasting networks and mobile communication networks. And secondly, it also studies the architecture and the technical solutions of convergent network system. So the output of this project is 6 reports, the future design of the system. And afterwards, just this year, we got a new project from the government. And this new project is the National Key Research and Development Plan. The name of the project is Research on System and Demo for Converged Intelligent Media Network. And this funding is around 18 million US dollars. Among them, 7 million US dollars are from the government. And this project, the period of this project is starting the next half year of this year and ended by the end of 2022. So the target of this project is to study the key technology and the design prototype system for the convergent intelligent media network and to plan relevant experiments and the demonstration. So you can see from the picture on the left below, we just advanced our project 2 months ago. So for this project, we have 14, in total, we have 14 companies and organizations participating. For example, we have Academy of Broadcasting Science, ABS, which leads this project. And we also have universities like Shanghai University and Tsinghua University. And we also have the companies, big companies like Huawei from industry and the China Broadcasting Network Corporation. This is the objective of this project. And the project is a big project, so it is divided into 4 sub-projects. The first sub-project is the technical research and verification for system architecture and the collaborative coverage. The key technology and the standardization of intelligent media engine. The third one is research on key technology and application of UHD broadcasting and coding. And the last one is the terminal network and the scale application demonstration. So now we will talk about the third action from the government. So the government established a standard committee, which the name is AIB, the Advanced Interactive Broadcasting. And I'm not going to talk too many details about this because on the first day from Dr. Zhang Yu already give you some information about this organization. And I just want to focus on the point is it was established last year, and the purpose is to develop next generation standards and also to organize evaluations and the trials afterwards. And finally, the goal is to promote the industry. And it has 48 members participating in this committee. So finally, we will come to the standardization progress for the next generation. We have just introduced you the AIB Standard Committee. So I will skip all those meetings and discussions before coming to this conclusion. So basically, the AIB committee categorized the standard, the future standard, into the main profile standard and the high profile standard. So what is the main profile and the high profile? So for the high profile, it mainly for the larger screens and rooftop reception. And it tries to support the ultra high definition television broadcasting. So you can understand this high profile similar as ATA 3.0, the terrestrial broadcasting part. And you can also see it as an improved version of DTMB. And we also have the main profile. And the main profile is mainly focused on providing services for the mobile device, for the portable device, whatever it is, broadcasting service or interactive service. The main focus is the smart terminals, the mobile device. And for the main profile, it will just follow the 3GPP 5G or 5G broadcaster standard. So this is a timeline for the high profile. We had just had this meeting last month. So in the committee, the committee decided that proposals, tests, and simulations will be carried out starting now until the end of year 2020. And the standard will be then published by them. And then by the end of the year 2022-21, prototype systems should be completed, and enough tests should have been done by them to finally serve the Winter Olympic Games in Beijing. And for the main profile, maybe many people will ask why you just follow the 5G broadcast standard. You don't want to create a standard by yourself. From my point of view, the big reason is just to embrace the global standard and to ensure the market success. Because 3GPP standard is a globally acknowledged standard and systems, it is very easy to get more investments and support from the industry. And also it is very easy to have a demo system ASAP to prove its market value. So now we will talk about the progress in 3GPP for this main profile. Last year in June in La Jolla, in San Diego, we have had the RAM plenary session. So in that meeting, they kick off the study item for the ENTV enhancement in release 16. And the main goal of this study item is to study the gap analysis to see if the current standard, which was release 14 ENTV, if the current standard meets the requirement of 100 kilometers radius coverage and also the 250 kilometers per hour mobility. Obviously, it did not fulfill the requirements. And in this study item, we introduce the 3 new scenarios for ENTV. So before we have only low power, low tower station, the coverage is around is up to 50 kilometers. Now in this study item, we introduce the medium power media tower, which was coming from, the idea was coming from China, because in China we have this kind of broadcasting stations with the ISD around 30 kilometers to 50 kilometers. And we also have this high power high tower 1 and high power high tower 2. The idea was from United States and also from the European countries. So based on these 4 scenarios, we also have the different types of receiver are considered for simulation. So we have loop-top antenna reception, and we also have the indoor reception scenario, and we have the car-mounted scenario and in-car scenario. So the study item have 3 meetings, and the 3 meetings is mainly to first of all to discuss the methodology about the objective and to discuss the simulation parameters. And then we do a lot of simulation, it's a system simulation and also physical layer simulations. And then finally we evaluate these simulations and capture the simulation results and agreements in the technical report. We also propose some proposals together with Huawei and ABS. First of all, to focus on the evaluation of the spectral efficiency to see if it meets the current 5G requirements. And we also try to propose a non-uniform constellation for LTE-based 5G terrestrial broadcasting. And the final conclusion for the study item is the new knowledge should be specified to support the 250 kilometers per hour mobility and also the 200 kilometers coverage. This is the work item objective of the work item, to specify the new module for the large ISD, and to specify the physical channels, enhancement to the physical channel and signals in CAS, and also to define new module for the high mobility. The point is that you can see from the table below, for the larger ISD, we only consider the media tower and high power high tower. And for the high mobility, we only consider the case of car mounted because in-car and indoor does not work. This is the conclusion from the study item. And this is the outline for the work plan for the work item. Actually, it has 5 meetings. I didn't put the last meeting inside. And the goal is to finally find the good new knowledge parameters to meet the 100 kilometers coverage and also the 250 kilometers mobility. We have also some proposals to design the IS patterns for the new module for the mobility. And this is the decision from last meeting, just last month in Reno. The newest decision is new knowledge only comes to the 2 choice. First choice is the 386 uniseconds for the CP and 2.4 milliseconds for the symbol, or 300 uniseconds for the CP and 2.7 milliseconds for the symbol. We only have 2 choices left for support of the rooftop reception. And secondly, Monte Carlo-based path loss model is used to evaluate the CAS. And finally, except for the 215 kilometers per hour, we also include 115 kilometers per hour scenario for this work item. Because other countries, they say they need this speed. So this is pretty much it for the 5G broadcaster status. So what is the way forward? I remember in last year in the RAN plenary, Huawei proposed this way forward for the 5G broadcast, and many companies signed it. In my view, that 5G mixed mode might appear in release 17, and we expect that downlink only based on 5G core might be studied after release 17. So this is the timeline for the 5G broadcasting. You can see. And this is the final slides. I just added yesterday evening. So the good news is that just yesterday, June 6, 2019, the Chinese broadcasting has obtained the commercial license for the 5G from the government. So it became the 4th operator after China Mobile, China Unicom, and China Telecom. So the point is that it seems that good future is coming. So we will see if the broadcasting world in China can take full use of this 5G license and the frequency to realize a successful convergent next generation networks. So thank you.